Alright guys, without further delay, I bring you series number 2 for the day and series number 4 in the round of 8 competition of the Cup of Beer 6 tournament for Project Celeste, organised by Macau, Wout and Erie. And big thanks to BB Gambiti for chipping in an extra $100 to the tournament. So, Spawning is player number 1 today in the first game of this series as the blue Egyptian player today. And this will be how you tell them apart because they're both Egyptian. So the blue player, we've got StriKeR. You'll have to remember to tell me that because I tend to forget and get the player names mixed up. I'm a big old dummy. And player number 2 today, and the red Egyptian player, and as the substitute player in the tournament who's played extremely well so far, we've got Theace9 on his Egypt as well. So Ace going for a starting barracks, StriKeR looking to go for a dock first, going for the 3 villages on the food and the wood, going for the dock. So the standard macro build for the map from StriKeR, while Ace going for a more aggressive strategy that's more reserved for smaller maps that don't have so much water. So Ace is both going to have to try and find which dock StriKeR goes for, but also try and actually force him off back here, because if StriKeR actually commits to triple fishing boat, it's pretty much impossible to have the spearman count to be able to take the dock out. And so if you spend your time chipping away at that, you don't really slow down your opponent at all. But if you can force them off the hunt, if you can force them off the wood line in particular, that's what's really going to cripple them, because it's going to interrupt their second or their third fishing ship, and they're aging up. StriKeR checking this lake unsuccessfully, but perhaps over here could yield a greater result. So, I mean, Ace checking the wrong lake, sorry. And Ace hasn't actually scouted StriKeR, but he's basically denying this one preemptively, and StriKeR attempting to go for the double dock strategy. So StriKeR going to be delayed in doing so by Ace. I was just double checking just to make sure everything seemed to be running right. It all does. So this villager of StriKER's isn't going to be able to throw down this dock. Well, actually, that's a fight that can be taken there. So StriKeR up to 2 fishing ships here, not going for the third yet, but Ace has had the spears all sort of spread out, so he's not going to have them nice and clumped up to be able to chip this down in time. But this storehouse, it's sort of a bit of a dummy really, because it keeps StriKER safe back at home. He's continuing to gather all this time, no workers are interrupted, he's on the other hunt, he's on the lake here, so perhaps it's a smart play from StriKER to do that really, because it just sort of serves as a good decoy, good dummy, ties up the spears, slows down your opponent, gets you the time to get out loom, get out another house, you know, get towards aging up or the barracks or both. StriKER instantly moving the priestess in to try and do the healing up he needs to do, and he's just going to take the fight against the spear. So this is quite smart, although not all the villagers are attacking. He is actually able to keep all the villagers alive, not lose a single one, kill all the spearmen except for one, and he's pretty much right as rain. He's been always panic pulled off this hunt preemptively, but it's not such a bad idea because the spears aren't that far away, and StriKER going for a third dock now. So he's playing 4. StriKER has 4 docks already. What the hell am I watching? This is the sort of game I came to tune into, guys, because holy crap, StriKER is playing the greediest Age 1 game I've ever seen in a tournament game with 4 docks before aging. Ace, in the meanwhile, is playing some of the most aggressive balls to the wall, one racks and push opening he can. He's banking up quite a lot of wood. He's got his age 2 stone he needs. He's gathering a little bit of gold as well. The age 2, the temple he needs to get age 2 isn't even on the way yet. StriKER has his on the way, has all these docks. He's got a fishing ship on each lake. He's checking the water lines as well, just to make sure. So StriKeR playing so much greedier than Ace off that opening. Just hasn't got a villager on the way, but there we go. He's got another one in production. He's got the house on the way. Yeah, so StriKeR. H2 now, Ace. Well, Ace has got some spearmen. And he's got a big wood bank though, and he does have the stone. StriKeR still doesn't actually have the stone. Thank you for the follow. Ace has the stone to get his town center out, and he has the stone to go and get armory upgrades or get a tower behind that on one of these lakes as well. So StriKeR still needs to gather stone, even though he's gone for this much more macro-oriented focus. He hasn't got a huge advantage over Ace in every aspect, so Ace certainly actually still has the spears to harass with. StriKeR needs to get a production facility of some sort out to produce units. He still needs to get the stone to get the town center out. But we're seeing a proxy barracks going up over here, but Ace has already scouted it, so Ace is at least going to know when the spears are coming in. I mean, when the axes are coming in, but in saying that, oh, instead of axes, it's a spear timing. So StriKeR going for mass spears. He's got them already queued up. Although, it doesn't give you the gold back if you do that. So, you've actually got to not have them queued up, finish the upgrade, then spam them all out if you want to actually make use of the upgrade. It doesn't actually retroactively apply to the ones that are in the queue, guys. To my knowledge, I could be wrong, but I've not noticed it to work another way. I think it's like just like that. I watched it then. I didn't see StriKER's gold tick up for the fact that he had 4 spearmen in queue. He should have instantly gained 20 gold the moment the upgrade finished. I don't think he did. But this barracks of his is going to get taken out. Ace is already on top of that one, and he's going to try and capture his opponent's berries as well. This has been the weirdest bloody game I've ever seen. And StriKeR is going to go on to 5 Raxes over here and just get a whole bunch of spearmen, work in a handful of axemen as well, just to be on the safe side. But this way, no matter whether Ace gets the stables out and goes for the camels, or continues to just mass out axemen and spearmen of his own, StriKER should be able to overcome him just based off how much food he's able to gather out of all these fishing ships. He's going to get a trireme just to defend here, and then get some more fishing ships, I think, and continue saturating at the others when he can get the gold for, when he can get the wood for it. But he's just had to invest a lot into the barracks, so that's been delayed by a little bit. And a guard tower here from Ace really blocks off 2 golds here for StriKER. So people would often think of this sort of spawn when the game starts out as great for this blue player, but then Ace has come along and proven why it can actually be a detriment to the defending player, because right now all these resources are being controlled by Ace. But StriKER coming in with a huge number of units, villager counts 40 to 37. The population is 15 in favor of StriKER, and he just has so many spearmen here. He's going to try and focus this down with the spears, use the axemen to try and peel away what he can of Ace's axemen. And StriKER might be able to get this TC, but there is a huge number of villagers there repairing. Ace isn't gathering any stone though, so once he runs out of stone here, that's it. He's going to have to try and allocate some villagers to gather more. And Ace is having a garrison again, so StriKER might be able to push this TC down. Still no stone gathering yet from Ace, and StriKER instead opting to actually try and focus down the production facility. So perhaps this is an even smarter play from him, because now Ace can't actually reinforce as quickly behind this, and StriKER has 5 production facilities right on Ace's doorstep. Ace is still trying to scout around and actually find out where the units are coming from, and actually having to bring the units back because he just hasn't got enough at home to defend at the moment. StriKER is really pushing him with everything he's got. This has been a crazy EVE game. This has been wonderful stuff, guys. But right now, StriKER about 40 pop ahead of Ace. Ace just repairing this barracks over here, but I think it's pretty much the only one he's got at the moment. He's building up another one right now, But there's a lot of axemen here for Ace. StriKeR getting axemen in queue, but a lot of these spears that he had out are falling, so his population advantage isn't growing by any means. StriKeR is still chipping away at a lot of Ace's villages here, so Ace on 36 villages to StriKER's 53, so StriKER still only on one town centre still. Ace on the 2, but with the all the docks and all this aggression, StriKER has really managed to have a huge eco count advantage over Ace, and GG, that's game number 1. What the fuck was that? Holy, what a game! That was intense. GG. That was an incredible proxy strat there from StriKER. Incredible greed there from StriKER, and Ace unfortunately really didn't catch on to that quick enough to really be able to deal with it, I don't think. And things really started going wrong from the start when StriKER had a sort of a perfect pull onto the spears then. Ace sort of took the bait with that storehouse, which really didn't hold up StriKER at all. As you can remember, there was like 4 or 5 spears chipping away at this, but the whole time StriKER's just gathering up wood. And if StriKER had been attacked here on the wood line, it would have been worth so much more for Ace, because StriKER was able to translate that into more fishing ships. In the end, what was his fishing ship count? Let's have a look. Like, this is actually phenomenal, the number of fishing ships. StriKER is on 19 fishing ships on 4 lakes out of 5 in a quarterfinals match, guys. That's something else. Anyway, guys, we're going to go to game number 2. I won't keep the guys waiting for too much longer. Alright, I'll get all this stuff updated. Where we got? Boost score. So Ace has actually opted to play on equal footing next. So it's a really hard map to actually see any sort of cheese like that as well. And huge props to StriKeR for pulling that off. That was something else. So we've got a Norse versus Celt coming up now. So this will be another fun matchup to see, I think. So StriKER on his favourite civ, and Ace on one of his civs that he's really quite strong on as well. I think this is going to be quite a good game to watch, this one. Let me just fix the game number. Yeah, alright, so that all looks up to date. We got Inland's been played, and we're going on to equal footing now. So yeah, guys, if you enjoy this one as much as I enjoyed that last one, holy what a game. I want to see if StriKER has anything like that up his sleeve this time. So that was just something else. Alright, just let me get this all set up, guys. Oh, sweet. Alright. So, we got an equal footing game now. So, bit of an opposite end of the spectrum map, because there's a much shorter rush distance. There's no macro opportunity in the mid map that you're going to go for over, yeah, trying to hunker down back at home, take stuff as far away from your opponent as possible and get that second TC out. So right now we got StriKeR up 1-0 over Ace in this best of 5 series. He's on his Norse, he's blue. Ace is on his Celts, he's red. So Ace going for the barracks. It's actually outside of TC range here, so this is interesting because it means if you get forced off it, you can lose it. StriKeR going to have the delayed barracks and actually opting for a double storehouse. So Norse would naturally have a delayed barracks because they actually start with 50 less wood, but in this position, StriKeR is actually even getting hunting dogs and opening double storehouse. So this is going to be the slowest barracks time possible that you pretty much can see early. You know, Norse is like the slowest barracks time pretty much. So coupled with the double storehouse and the hunting dogs, you know, now there's an outpost going out actually. So StriKeR is gonna make use of war dogs, I think, because there's no reason you would build an outpost defensively like that, not in a position where you're going to get vision or something, unless you're going to go for dogs. So man, oh man, StriKeR is just here to entertain us guys. This is amazing, but Ace is going for spears first, so this is one of the things that makes it really quite hard to open with dogs, because the spears counter the dogs, so the dogs are going to be slightly faster, but you know, you can't afford to tank Town Center Fire, you can't afford to tank the Spearmen, so... Although in saying that the outpost is less of a commitment than the barracks and the spears more expensive on food, the outpost cheaper on wood than the barracks, so... The Norse player can play this slightly greedier than the Celt and be ahead in terms of mobility if he gets this right, so... StriKeR actually behind on quite a bit of score now because he's going for such an early age too. But I think he might be able to pull this off. Ace is going to force him off this hunt very shortly though, because... Oh, and is that inside range or outside? I think... Oh, StriKeR, this might not work as well as you would imagine and as well as I'd imagined. Ace 2 has kicked in now and StriKER's done a perfect pull away from the... storehouse. He's going to get out with minimal damage, but he needs to... Oh, he can't really take this fight, can he? The War Dogs can't fight the spears that well. I mean, they're no longer considered a cavalry, they're only considered a huntable, but even still the spears are going to be able to trade with them cost effectively. Well, StriKeR actually repelled that better than I thought he would. I stand corrected. So with the change with the War Dogs in the most recent balance patch, previously they were both considered a huntable and a cavalry type. Actually, no, sorry, they are still cavalry. Are they? No. I'm confused. Yeah, it says they're huntable type. So the spears no longer do bonus damage. Yeah, no, they are. They are huntable type. They were formerly huntable and cavalry, and they've lost the cavalry tag. So they actually can be used a lot like Zerglings, I guess, now. Which is, I guess, what StriKER's idea is here. But there's just that many spears, and StriKER is so far behind on economy now. He just has, like, no food. I don't know if this has really paid off for him. That's a lot of spears, and they are nearly as fast as the dogs. Oh, good use. Oh, StriKER resigns. Yeah, he put himself in a bad spot there. And he thought dogs are age 1. Yeah, it'd be nice if they were, to be honest. Yeah, so bit of a rough game for StriKeR there. I think he was hoping War Dogs were an Age 1 tech, so it didn't pan out as well as he'd hoped. So he sort of threw that one away before it had really begun. So it's been a short couple of games for the first two games so far. Alright, so StriKeR, man, you are spoiling us today. He's giving us Mountain Crossing for game number 3. They just love to entertain these CG players, don't they?
Glory to the Empire!
Thank you for the subscription, Godello. So we've got equal footing all done, and we've got, what we got? Mountain Crossing up and coming. And so for the player civs, I'll just get that all sorted. We've got Persia from Ace, and we've got Egypt once again from StriKeR. So I'll be interested to see if StriKeR tries the same thing again when he's on Egypt. What sort of style he's got in mind for this one. But man, these guys have certainly entertained us today. And before we cut to the next game, I want to give a big shout out to our sponsor, PF2K at pf2k.com, for all of his lovely graphics work in all of the tournaments and competitive events, and pretty much just about everything in AoE, AoEO to be honest. So big shout outs to PF2K for all of his work, on top of being pretty much the proactive of any of the devs at pretty much fucking everything. So yeah, shout outs to him. Anyway guys, going into game number 3 now. We've got an EVP, and I think this one should delight. Oh, actually, I forgot to pick the map there. Had a bit of a false start. Oh, this map is beautiful. This is the greatest map ever. Like, I'm sorry, Recon. Ghost Lake is good, but there just isn't the cheese potential there is on Mountain Crossing. This isn't even a super. Actually, this isn't really even a cheesy one. Yeah, I'll show you guys what we're looking at today. So, what I'm talking about is normally with Mountain Crossing, there's this little lake. Well, there is always these little ponds at the back of each player's base where there's 3 schools of fish. Down here, there's 5 or 6. Oftentimes, there is actually a second entrance here. So, and there is room here for Ace to actually enter in here. And you can even like wall it off and tower it up and just do all sorts of weird things. So, Ace going for a fast barracks is our player number 2 today, the red Persian player. And as the blue Egyptian player, we've got StriKeR. So both players have taken a game off the other in the series so far. StriKeR seems to be playing the more greedy strategy. Here we go, so he's got the dock and the hunt. Ace has gone for the hunt and the barracks. And He'll probably look at expanding onto the dock soon, but for now, he's going to go pump out the Sparrowbara. Wants to put the pressure on StriKeR early, so interested to see how this one goes for the players. StriKeR actually shifted his priestess across because he wants to pump out the fishing ships as quickly as possible. Now, StriKeR must be the most proactive player in the game with his priestesses, I think, because almost no one would do that. And like that's probably the one time where I think it'd be more rewarding to have your priestess on something other than your town center early, because the fishing ships are actually worth more per population than your villages. So they take a lot longer to train as well. So it's a much bigger reduction in terms of seconds by having the actually no, it's not, it's just 3 seconds, is it? But it is a bigger gain ultimately because yeah, they are worth more than a villager. And StriKeR gathering a lot of wood out of here now. He's got everything over here. He's even building a house over here, which is potentially dangerous because it's not inside the TC range, but it also means it's a little bit harder to get through to the villages that are back here, and it means that even if the units are chipping away at the houses, they should be focusable by the fishing ships, although Persia is the hardest civ to have to try and defend with ranged fire early on against, because Sparrowbara have a lovely amount of armor, 40 armor, so they take basically, you know, 40% less damage overall. But that's a good villager pull there from StriKeR. He manages to deal a lot of damage to the Sparrow quite quickly before he takes any eco damage himself, pulls everything back. So Ace so far is being repelled and hasn't got any economic bonuses over StriKeR. I mean, certainly has an economic disadvantage compared to StriKeR at the moment because he doesn't have the dock, and StriKeR moving on to the second dock already as well. Really smart play, good eco, and he's able to gauge that he is going to be able to get out of this with minimal villager losses, as long as the priestess doesn't fall in this situation. But Ace might have, yeah, Ace has sniped the priestess, so that's a big loss to StriKeR because he's no longer actually able to pump out villages at the same rate as Ace is until he gets age 2 and gets another priestess on the way. So, and then it means it's delayed on the second TC, so yeah, ultimately it's a bit of a loss there for StriKeR. Ace is going to be slowing him down a little bit with that now, but at the same time, StriKeR already down here fishing from that little lake. This villager might have to fight these crocodiles ultimately, but yeah, so StriKeR trying to defend as well as he can with his scout. So this is smart because he's at least slowing down Ace a little bit, knows where the Sparrow Owl are, and Ace isn't actually aware StriKER's slipped in down here and started claiming the water. And this is one of the most crucial thing about mountain crossing, is control of that middle lake, because it's worth roughly twice as much as the one at the backside of your base, and it gives you all this map control. Like there's usually gold spawns either side of it, a food spawn sort of above and below it, and a stone spawn or two sort of all around as well. So it's very crucial to try and control that lake, and if you can get on it, even if it means sacrificing the rest of the map early on, it often can mean you come out ahead. So StriKER getting the barracks now, has his age 2, Ace still in age 1, getting more Sparrow, getting his age 2 now, but there's no dock for him yet. StriKER, yeah, 3 fishing ships out, 27 villagers to 20 at the moment. So Ace actually significantly behind economically so far. He needs to get the dock out to actually even catch up in terms of fishing ships. It's, you know, you're looking at 7 to 0 fishing ships basically, and yeah, StriKER really just needs to get the wood to get production facilities out now. I mean, get the town center out now, and get some axemen out here, and he'll be right to defend this, I think. But the Sparrow shouldn't be able to take down the town center in time. StriKeR just needs to not bleed too many villagers in this situation, I think. And he needs to be able to get the gold to, yeah, get the axemen out. That's what's going to be the hard part. Ooh, so StriKeR can afford 2 axemen. And he is going to have the resources to keep repairing the town centre in this situation. He could possibly village a micro in and out of the town centre, take a couple of shots at the Sparrow and just animation cancel his opponent's attacks there. And just, repeatedly just interrupt attacks. So, StriKeR ahead of Ace in terms of score at the moment because he's still surging out units. Ace getting a second town centre on the way now, but there is still axemen coming out for StriKeR, and ooh, that's a good stack of the Sparrow Burrow though, so it'll be interesting to see if Ace can overwhelm him here, because I mean if he forces out he's getting the range, so if Ace can get that range out in time, well, he might be able to do this. But in saying that, StriKeR is continually weaving those workers back and forth. StriKeR does need to get another house here, but ooh, I don't know if StriKeR's going to have the units to hold here. Ace is a good Sparrow Burrow count here. They haven't got champion yet, but Ace is still continually pumping him out. Needs a little bit more gold. Ooh, he's distance gathering the gold this whole time. But that TC is really under a lot of threat now. There's 15 Sparrow there. There's 6 axemen coming in though. Ooh, the priestess can be sniped, so Ace is going to try and focus her down first. The Sparrow, yeah, Ace has lost quite a few Sparrow. He's back down to 11 and there's still 6 axemen in place. So StriKeR hasn't lost another axeman yet. The priestess being microed out. More Sparrow are going to fall. So Ace, oh, Ace does snipe the priestess here. And there is the bowman on the way. So Ace is behind economically, but he does have that second town centre out now, so he is going to be... Oh, he has started catching up on villager production. He's 32 to 29 villagers now. So the continual pressure here and getting that second town centre out has meant Ace can catch up economically here. He's still down overall considering he hasn't got any fishing ships, and they are worth basically twice as much of a villager once you get that Age 2 upgrade. But StriKeR is really going to have to defend this town centre as best he can. He doesn't have any more stone to repair this town centre, so if this one gets interrupted terribly late, then it can be all over for him because he doesn't have a lot of health from the other one. Now the 2 barracks is going down for StriKeR, so he needs to get the units out to be able to deal with this because Ace has now got 2 production facilities of his own and he's been continually streaming in units. Villager now taking a bit of a fisticuffs, bit of a fist fight here. So 2,500 health left on that town centre. Can Ace do it? StriKeR is forcing out more production facilities, going for a second attempt at the town centre. He might be able to do it this time because he does have the units there, and Ace is almost all out of units. There is some more villagers being chipped away at over here. But Ace's score is still slipping. He's up in terms of population still, but StriKeR is stabilised now, and the second town centre is being finished off. The first, for now, is safe. There's more production facilities out here for Ace than StriKeR. Oh no, no. Ace has still got the production facility advantage for the time being. Double armories going down, and the StriKeR instantly cancelling them to throw them up on the backside of his base. StriKeR needs to get gold from somewhere else now. He's been forced off down there by the look of it, and Ace once again taking pot shots at the town centre. 2200 health. But Ace, good number of bowmen here, and there's only a handful of slingers here in the mix. Now StriKER's going to saturate that second gold mine, and he's Ooh, he's still down by quite a bit of population. Ace is going to add some of his Asabara in the mix very shortly because he's going to have that stables. StriKeR's going to run out of fish on this rear side lake very soon. There is still another pond just over here in the corner. And there is still, I mean, it's still another school over there in the corner. But that's it left in this pond, I believe. So, StriKeR still down by 10 population. Ace, 46 villages to 41 of StriKeR, but he does, yeah, have that fishing ship disparity. And StriKeR once again losing a bunch of villages to the Bowman fire. But Ace is going to have to back out here very shortly. He's going to basically clear this front line, and then they're going to have to back out himself, because once his Spira fall, he's going to be taking slinger shots directly on the Bowman. That's something you really don't want. But Ace backing out right on a good time then. If he comes down here and clears this out, he's going to really put the hurt on StriKeR. I think because there's a few more villages down there to collect. Town center though, yeah, 2200 health. Things not looking the greatest for it. Good stack of the slingers here from StriKeR though. It's going to be very hard for Ace to sit on top of them. He's going to have to try and focus on the town center. Back down to 2100 health now. Village counts 43 to 50. Man, this has been such a intense game. StriKeR's only just been holding on this whole time, but it's been such a good game to watch. That's a huge number of villages there that can be picked off by StriKeR. So Ace is 5 population less than StriKeR at the moment, but he's got this force here and he's about to... Oh, he doesn't eradicate any villages, but he does force a big garrison. He does back off just in time. He's got his Asabara in the mix now, so Ace really starting to even up in terms of score now. But StriKeR finishing Silver Age now. So Axeman champion will be coming out, Slinger champion perhaps too. So, big fight going down here. StriKeR down a little bit in terms of population. Ace is a good clump of bowmen here, but there's no more front line left, so Ace is going to have to back out because StriKeR is picking off him in the range fight much faster. Ace still hasn't gone and taken the water in his base. He's actually taken both the crocs here, and they've got barely any food. That's like 250 food. Hasn't gone on the water yet, so there's another 3,000 still in the bank for him to go for. StriKER's just about exhausting this lake at the bottom side. Ace getting a forward aid 10 here. I think he just wants the healing and just the extra target for his opponent to be picking at. So StriKER aging up has given his town center a little bit more health. It's yeah, basically gone from 2060 to 4120 health. There's 62 villages to 58 right now, and corner market here from, corner town center there from StriKER. He's already got the market there, and I'm just anticipating the next big battle to go down. So Ace, I don't know if you actually saw that. So if we go have a look here, Ace, no, is unaware about that. So Ace is not aware. He might have been able to snipe that actually, but right now Ace is a bigger army than StriKER and is really pushing into him. If you can get these units involved in this fight, he probably should do that because he needs to get these slingers down if he wants to finish StriKER off here and now. But StriKER has other plans, of course. Focusing down the bowman. Fortress going down for StriKER as well, so if he can get this out, he can defend all this really quite easily, but saying that, bit of a commitment as well, because it means he's had to go for those resources rather than focusing on getting as big of a composition as he could, or getting some raiding units out and dealing some harass to his opponent. So Ace, I think, is getting a couple of storehouses to just really put the fear in his opponent, really help zone. If he gets another one here, it just means he can start chipping away at all these houses in a healing field of his own. And Ace gonna deny this gold mine once again. Do a bit of a scout here for, is he gonna see any of this stuff? Is he gonna see it? Is he gonna see it? No, Ace can't see. There's two markets there finishing off, so this is really quite crucial. But does Ace see it? Ace does see it, so this is really good find for Ace. Really tough for StriKeR now, because he's going to lose all that. StriKER's going to have to try and wall up the front of his base, but there's already bowmen there to prevent that, and there's some A-10s there, so this is going to be really quite weird for StriKER to try and deal with right now. I don't know why all these bowmen aren't doing anything, but Ace is going to be able to snipe the market. Is getting walls along the front of StriKER's base of his own, so he really can contain him. And the markets fall. Ace's forces are sort of trapped in here at the moment. They can't really get through that pass there, I don't think. And being a force of predominantly bowmen against elephants and slingers, it's not so great. So that force of aces is largely going to go into the bin, but he has contained StriKER really well thus far. So Ace once again trying to push into his opponent's base, but now StriKER has the population advantage over Ace, and Ace is just bleeding too many units, so StriKER's really managed to stabilize behind all this, despite the fact that he hasn't got a lot of map control. I really do like this wall here from Ace though, because it just means that StriKER is really hemmed in, and now StriKER can't get on that gold mine down there, so if Ace can block off this top side, StriKER is really going to be limited in his resources in the next couple of minutes. But Ace still can't afford to take a fight head on just yet. Good bowman volleys from him though. So StriKER only about 30 pop lead. And now the Sparrow are gonna take down the stock that little bit faster, so StriKER's no longer gonna have that. Oh, Ace is actually backing out for some reason. I don't understand. Oh, he wants to try and defend in the mid-map here, but there's an elephant in the mix here as well, so it makes it very hard because Ace needs to split his forces up, but StriKER already hit the golden age. StriKER really wants to try and macro his way out of the hole, really, because if he doesn't want to find the situation where he's on age 3 or age 2 or something and he's stuck in this little corner and he's run out of resources, down on upgrades, and just bleeds out through attrition. If he can get to age 4 as quickly as possible, he can bust out because he's maxed out as quickly as he can. But this could be a good fight here for Ace. I don't know why he's moving this other group away while he's moving this one in though. Ideally you want them to hit as close to one another in terms of time as possible, but he's coming in from this third angle as well, so this surround on StriKER is perhaps really all he needs to be able to seize control of the mid-map once again and really put the hurt on StriKER. Yeah, so Ace Still maxed out 180 population. StriKeR down to 130 and Ace, yeah, pulling everything together. He's pushing in towards his opponent's base. StriKeR hasn't quite finished the wall off. Man, this has been a good couple of games between these guys. The walls have finished up. They aren't the max level that they could be. And StriKeR very low on food here. Ace, yeah, again, he's maxed out. It's going to be extremely difficult for StriKeR to try and hold off from this position. I mean, I have my faith in him, but man, that's not a lot of resources he's got left to play with. He's still down here on this dock, though. I don't know why Ace hasn't clicked onto the dock with the guard tower. It should be in range with like the extra +1 that you get from clicking onto things. So yeah, that's the thing with static defenses. They'll shoot an extra range or an extra half a range further. Anyway, right now StriKeR, oh man, the heat is on at the moment because Ace still maxed out. He's got the bowman, they've got champion now, and man, there's some Takabara in the mix. More Asabara in to support all this range. Deal as a big tanky front line for it. And StriKeR having to really back his elephants off, hide him amongst the shadows just so he doesn't lose them and can continue to chip away at individual bowmen as best as he can. So 30 pop lead still for Ace, and he certainly has all the map control. Another guard tower going up on the top side of the map now, this time to really deny any topside movement from StriKeR, and Ace is still steamrolling into his opponent's base, and StriKeR is really well positioned. Elephant Archers getting a lot of value, but I don't know if it's going to be enough because Ace is continually just maintaining this 30 population lead. He's just unstoppable at the moment. Oh, some forward workshops, some dirty stuff. He'll be able to clear through these walls in no time, get on that fortress and just deny StriKeR the ability to keep producing these elephant archers. The longer Ace delays here, the worse it's going to be pushing in though, because it gives StriKeR the time to actually get out the elephant archers, replace his caravans, all that sort of thing. But now Ace is just going to try and focus down the markets as quick as he can, I think. He's going to get one of them, going to try and get the other as well. So he does snipe both of them. There was a third, I thought. Oh, it's already been sniped earlier. Ace is trying to push through on two fronts now. Get some houses on both sides of StriKeR's base. StriKeR 167 pop. Ace is trying to wall him in and just do a Spara base push there, I think. But more houses being sniped by Ace. So StriKeR still stuck at 165 pop, while Ace is, yeah, able to shoot between 165 and 180 as he pleases, but StriKeR has plenty of elephants here, so he can slowly bust out through this middle. Asabara, again, in causing trouble in StriKeR's base. Worker counts 97 for StriKeR to 112 for Ace, so crazy macro stats there for the boys. So there's another fortress there, here to defend the markets, but this triple layer of walls, Ace is not going to be able to get through that anytime soon. He needs to have something here to deal with. Ellie Archer champion. Oh, and War Elephant champion. So StriKeR is in ultra, ultra, ultra late game Egypt with his Ellie Archer champions. But he's still not maxed out. Still getting that 4th town center down now. Ace is running in. This is really smart actually. He's running a ram straight past all these elephants and stuff and just trying to focus down the fortress, and he's run a whole bunch of Asabaro down here just to keep being a nuisance in StriKeR's base. It's been an interesting game if it goes to a base race situation because the war elephants are really good at pushing in a base, but the Ellie Archer champions, they're not the greatest. Not really any better than cavalry are. I still am yet to figure out this because it's just sort of sitting there. Maybe a workshop would have been the way to go. Put a workshop down there in that little quadrant. Big number of elephants now of strikers inside Ace's base.
Glory to the Empire!
And thank you for that. And yeah, there's a huge number of elephants. Yeah, thank you for the follow. So good little spot for them to be sitting to as well. So it's very hard for Ace to get a good surround with his Asabara on these units. And oh, I didn't even realize there's a Priestess of Ra hidden here amongst the trees. She was giving a lovely amount of little amount of health to them. And there's another one in the mix there too. So really smart of StriKeR to send them in because the EHP value they're healing up, the amount of resources that translate into, the amount of effective damage output that gives you is huge. StriKeR has managed to break Ace here, I think. Such a wonderful push there in the end. I really thought Ace had that because he had so much good pressure from the start of the game. But StriKeR just managed to outscale it there in the end, I think. And I don't know if Ace is going to be able to clean this up because there's elephants everywhere in his base, and he's down to 76 villagers. StriKER's at 78. Things are really boding much better for StriKeR at the moment, I think. There's nothing there to really clean up these elephant archers that are just chipping away at everything, and that's a GG. That's game number 3. Done and dusted. So StriKeR takes game number 3. Very interesting game. Because it looked like even though StriKER's really crafty eco was keeping in the game, it almost looked like Ace had broken him several times there. But unfortunately just wasn't enough for Ace, and this takes us in game number 4. I'll just be a minute. Alright guys, that brings us to our first match point game. StriKeR is up 2-1 over Ace in this best of 5 series for the Cup of Beer 6 quarterfinal or round of 8. So we've got StriKeR once again going Egypt, so he's won both of his games so far in Egypt and he dropped a Norse game. Ace so far has played Persia and Celt. And Egypt as well. It was a mirror in the first game, don't forget. So Ace going for Babylonian, so he's swapped civs every single game so far, eh? So I'll take my hat off for him for doing so. StriKeR looking to clear the hunt now, but he's actually gone for berries, pick his gloves at home. Ace can be more flexible being Babylonian. He hasn't even had to clear his hunt, he's come straight down here. Just going straight on one. So StriKeR already falling a little bit behind in terms of score because of the disparity in the food gathering rates and the fact that he's had to invest an extra 75 wood into that upgrade. So even when he's taken that upgrade, he's still got the slower gather rate, and StriKeR is going to try and pinch these goats to make up for that. Ace in the meanwhile getting all the intel he needs because he's seen that his opponent gone for the berries. He's almost certain to have gone for picker's gloves just to try and close the gap because the upgrade is only 75 wood, even though it is a cost like I was just saying before. There's no gold cost to it unlike hunting dogs, and it is 20% unlike 10. So, but in saying that, hunting dogs has actually been buffed and now gives 25% conservation as opposed to 25% attack speed against huntables. So it means that you can actually sit on huntable sources for longer. So keep that in mind, guys. Just a little tip. Something that actually got changed recently. And Templar Ra going out now for StriKeR. Ziggurat already going out for Ace. So a bit of a slow early game so far, both players opting for their sort of macro openings really. Ace actually skipping a ox cart there, but he's going to go for a quick stables actually, so I take back what I said. Ace looking to go stables TC. StriKeR, I'm not sure what he's going to go, but it looks like it's probably going to be TC stables. Particularly considering as Egyptian, he's got the counter cavalry in age 2. No other civ does. Babylonian have the counter spearman cavalry, which no other civ does. So it's a bit of a no-brainer that StriKeR does opt for a stables before his other production facilities. But at the same time, well, this is really smart of Ace. He's using the scouts. The goats to scout both berries. Very smart. So because he doesn't see either of those hits taken, he knows the TC is probably going to be on this patch of berries because it won't fit down here. Just ignore that. So yeah, Ace very smart use of those, but StriKeR gonna have the little macro advantage. But in saying that, Ace, as he pumps out the lances, is going to be able to apply the pressure here and getting his town center not that much lower than his opponent. That's the sort of time that it should be. But StriKeR is again going to attempt a proxy play. So Ace is scouting out with this lancer to try and see if he can find a more central map based proxy play, but in the infinite genius that is StriKeR, he's going to put it right on the very edge of the map. Now, he probably pulled the workers slightly too early and could have just left them, say, on the gold or something, but no drama. He's got them there, building up. Ace doesn't have the Lancer count to be able to deal a huge amount of damage here. He won't be able to kill a villager, I don't think. And there is a Spearman to defend, so well, StriKeR has gone for a defensive barracks just to push out Spearman Champion. So Ace is probably on high alert now, because the only reason an Egyptian player would continue to go for like Spearman Champion, I mean go for barracks over stables, is if they want to do a big Spearman based push and just end the game early, because the camels are going to scale much better than the Spearmen. Egyptian Spearmen are one of the most disposable throwaway units in the game, with, you know, very crappy scaling. Population, their value to their population is very, very low compared to even the other Spearman choices from Age 1. So Ace is probably expecting something from StriKeR in this vein, but he hasn't managed to find the barracks yet, so this is really going to be crucial for him. StriKeR has the third barracks in the way, pumping out good numbers of the spears. They train in 5 seconds with the upgrade. StriKeR needs a minimal amount at home just to defend with, just to make sure that he doesn't get dunked on by Lancers. And as long as that doesn't happen, he can just continue to mass these up and push right before Ace is attempting his Age 3. So there's more stables coming up. StriKER's going to find out all about them. Did see the third stables go down, so he's confirmed. There's no rangers here, so there's not really anything that can trade into Spearman Axeman if it's well timed, and if the Lancers are especially all caught over here on this side of the map. So this is wonderful for StriKER. He's largely getting a bit of a repeat of that inland game in the EVE inland game. He's going to be able to snipe villagers here. Potentially, is he just going to go straight for the town centre? In fact, yeah, he is going to go just straight for the town centre and the garden, the 2 highest value targets of all. Actually, he's splitting up. He's deciding to just go for the stables instead, because Ace is going to try and pick off his villagers here at home. But there is a barracks here to defend, and there isn't a huge amount of Lancers. Meanwhile, there is the 3 barracks here, with only the scout attacking them. So StriKER's Egyptians proxy play is just next level stuff. And he might have just taken a second game in the series with the same strategy. He's going to be able to focus down the garden if he wishes, but he's going to get an insane amount of villager kills. Ace is actually backing out of StriKER's base, noticeably behind in score. 32 villagers to 31, but unit count wise, StriKER is up by 28, and he's sniped all of the stables. There's only a single archery range, and the second town centre looks so dangerously close to falling. Ace hadn't attempted going over onto the barracks, but he's gone, stuff it, I need to get back home and defend here. But that hesitation might have cost him here, because he's just going to be late with the Lancers now, and the town centre's down to 500 health, so StriKER has pretty much done this, I think, because he's taken the second town centre out. His is already well and secure. He's all good back at home. It's 31 villagers to 22, and GG, StriKER is through to the semi-finals, guys. Wonderful games, guys, and unfortunately Ace just didn't make the cut, but man, that Egyptian play from StriKER, all 3 of his games on Egypt, he's done it. GG, well played, guys. Man, the proxy barracks Egypt play is going to see a huge resurgence on the ladder now, because StriKER just pulled it off twice in the same series to win. GG, well played, guys, and thank you all for tuning in. I want to give a big shout outs once again to all the devs that take part in this little project of ours, and all the work they do, and in particular, you know, Erie were out in PF2K for their commitments, and yeah, actually having a competitive scene, I guess. And yeah, big shout outs to Lacam for sort of being the brainchild of the Cup of Beer tournaments and always providing funding for those, as well as yeah, BB Gambini for chipping in the big stack of $100. Yeah, and to all the guys and girls that have chipped in over the past couple of months that's gone to the tournament. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoy next weekend, because we're going to have the semi-finals and the finals. So that's going to be awesome, I think, and I'll see you there. Hopefully I'll get to cast maybe on the Sunday. I don't think I'll be able to cast on the Saturday, but we'll just have to see. But anyway, regardless of who's casting, I'm sure there'll be bloody awesome games. Alright guys, good night, and see you around, eh?